us end this, Wolf, as it began.
Look, we're going to be as straight up as possible with this. I think it just did not get... You hear Lord of the Rings anime, and you think something beautiful. This just never got, I feel, it never got the budget or the gravity of what an anime adaptation of Lord of the Rings should have gotten. And also they decided to write in their own character and thought they could tell a story that was as magical or close to as magical as a regular story from what was written before, the Tolkien stories. And it just doesn't really touch the quality of what Tolkien actually writes. So they try to weave around their own story and it just fails at it.
I mean, that's okay to do, to go off the books and do your own thing, as long as you just pull off correctly.
Agreed.
I never read any of these Tolkien books. So I mean, I wouldn't know how good those books are in comparison, but this is not a good movie for me. So I don't think the execution is well done.
No, I think, again, I don't want to spend too much time here, but on just this one movie. But again, I think there's just, it's crazy how many issues there are in moments of this film. Here's one example, right? I want to zoom in briefly on storyboarding, just the storyboarding of certain sequences and things. The expectation that I would have had for Lord of the Rings animated, I'm going to pause for a second, is something like this sequence. And I'm going to show you this, and then we're going to come right back. Pause. What I showed just a brief moment from Prince of Egypt, and again, that was my expectation of what kind of the quality of a Lord of the Rings animated, the breadth and scale that you should bring to the table of that is. Now, obviously, that's Prince of Egypt, that's 20 plus years ago. Animation has changed, but anime is on top better than ever now,
Oh, yeah. So, you were showing me the story, how this movie was storyboarded well. The Prince of Egypt.
Yes.
Because what I was comparing this to was PlayStation 1 video game cutscenes. How you have NPCs standing around, and it's just that one shot, and they're just taking turns to move around because they can't. They're not built to animate like a movie or like a dynamic scene.
Exactly.
A lot of these camera angles aren't dynamic. They don't switch them up between sentences. It's it's not storyboarded well with care. So kind of with a lot of good animated movies and just that Prince of Egypt movies, the camera angles switch up between sentences because and you can see how these are storyboarded, and most importantly, you can imagine these as comic book panels if you had a comic book just made out of these shots of the Lord of the Rings anime. That would be a boring comic because it would just be that one shot.
Yeah.
That same picture. Just the talk bubbles are changing. The same picture just going down, and it's we just keep changing switching up the talk bubbles.
And it's crazy because it's to the detriment of your character. It's Hera, the main character, so many times is pouring out her heart, trying to show her own perspective. And for some reason, our perspective is behind her. We don't see her facial expressions for most of the time she's pouring her heart out. She's talking to someone else at a different angle, and you can't see it, and that lowers the that just lowers the you can't get that character moment more than you could. It's insane.
Well, even that, not even the expressions, the body motions. It's the posters aren't very dynamic.
Yes.
The body motions are very, it's crappy 90s mocap, and they just kind of drew over the not even rotoscope, drew over key frames of that mocap.
Yeah.
And it's just that's what makes this movie so boring to look at to me. Despite the story, I think the story itself, it's kind of interesting.
Yes.
But it I hate the way this movie looks. I like the dialogue, the way it's read. It can be some boring. It just this is definitely one of my worst movies of this year because of how boring it's executed. Yeah. And it could just if it had the care of any of these TV any of the the TV and budget anime I've been watching. It had the care of those would have been way better. I've watched TV anime that has better direction than it. I've seen simplistic anime.
A ton.
I've seen simplistic animes with a cheaper budget than this
With better
that
vision.
has
Better
better direction because
Yeah.
it's actually storyboarded. It's all in the style. It's all in the direction. It's just directed horribly.
Yes, and again, like some of the best moments in the battles should be the best moments. Battle sequences aren't mapped well enough for the audience to get a lay of the land. So if you can't tell where the battle's happening, guess what? You're not going to be able to actually enjoy the battle that well unless it's just one-on-one battles, which can be good. But even the combat isn't that great looking in the end. It's fun. Sure, it's serviceable, but if you compare what the expectations should be for a Lord of the Rings anime, it just does not execute.
So, I didn't care to look at the trailer to the anime because I wasn't watching Lord of the Rings, so I didn't really pay attention to it. And then I was like, fuck, I'm gonna go see the movie, so I'm gonna watch the Lord of the Rings movies all week.
Yeah.
And after seeing the Lord of the Rings movie, I was like, oh shit, so now I'm ready for the movie. And I'm like, I'm not gonna see any trailers or anything. But like in my head, I'm like, fucking Lord of the Rings anime sounds fucking hardcore.
Yes.
And like, because it's like what I have in mind for Star Wars anime, because like the funny thing about the Star Wars visions is like you get like a ton of Star Wars and a ton of different anime art styles, and like a lot of those shorts really deliver on what you imagine like a fucking Star Wars anime would be, just really fucking hardcore and balls to the walls. And I'm like, Lord of the Rings in anime form? It's gotta be fucking. It's gotta go all out, and it doesn't deliver at all.
Yeah. No, it's bad. It just how much it wastes. And again, like
2 hours for an animated movie.
That's the thing. This is 2 hours plus.
Over.
And it's insane. Before we get to the full wrap up, last thing I want to say is again, I think what's crazy here is again the story's not terrible. Like the antagonist actually. This story is a great warning message to a lot of men that can't handle rejection well, because that's the whole thing about this movie. It's a whole thing of, it falls into, realistically, it's like, okay, so the inciting incident was pretty lame. It's a scrum between two old men that builds up into becoming this chaotic situation. But again, I think that this idea of just the mindset of the antagonist, it's out there. It is in real life. It's definitely out there. Because he's just he's just mad about being rejected. And then even when he has the upper hand and he thinks, oh, well, I have this and this and this, no one ever frames, what is it? You're blind to see, here's the thing, I wrote this here, the main character thinks that he has, there's no reason that she would say no, but you're blind to see the ways that you put women off. But also, she doesn't have to say yes. The blindness of people, it's just out there. It's just, that's just a genuine thing. It's this character was just blind to the idea in general that a character would say, nah, I'm good. No, I'll pass. And he could not handle that rejection. And I was trying to consider the whole rejection thing, because it's okay, why does this rejection burn so much? It's okay, fine. The rejection does lead to the scrum that kills his dad. That is one factor, right? Because she said no, the whole idea was his father took him up there, he proposed that his son marries the king's daughter, and she says, fuck no. And the father thinks that it's arrogance when it's not, and that leads to his father's death. But it's still based on the father is still at fault, but it leads to that. But you can still, it's okay, maybe that's the reason, but the core piece here is it's how much this rejection ate him up inside that I think is not the best. It's not as well told as it should have been, but I think it's a good warning card for younger adults out there that just don't really get to grips with that until maybe they look back at their lives and realize, you just got to empathize with that other side that may have just said, no, I'm good, I'm going to reject you. Understand rejection, accept it, move on.
I get the, I think this, for a different story, this message could have worked better. The execution is just he's angry that his father lost in kind of a bar fight in a sort of way.
Well, the rejection that led to the fight.
Yeah. But the way, I get it's probably the original story from the book, but that, you can still criticize the original story and probably change it if it's to make it kind of better and more impactful. Because I don't. This villain just feels like very
very Kylo Ren when he was just
very whiny. But like I think you're right to where like we see his perspective, because this is just like this is pathetic, of like how everything just transpires. Because like his father just like offers like the king to a match, and he just threw one punch and he just dies.
Yep.
And he's like, "Oh, you did this! You hurt me!"
Right.
And it's like, well, he kind of brought it on himself. Because it reminds me of bikers when they're like, fist or knives.
Oh, back in the bike ride, yeah.
Yeah, the bike riders, I mean.
Yeah.
When they're like, fist or knives. And it's just like, they're just having like a squat. They're just like, yeah, and he lost, and he died. He lost so hard he fucking died.
Yeah. That's all. But, yeah, like, again, I understand. Like, it's I can see that side of where he snowballed into this upset nature, because there's again out there this energy of rejection. Rejection can hurt, especially when it feels like maybe it's your fault as a person. Again, he was taken up there to possibly solve things, whether or not it was shady or not. It was him that was supposed to marry her, and then that would have solved something that would have happened in the end. I don't know what was going to happen, because we don't get the lens of that other town. We never get the lens of that town that they come from, or whatever setting they come from to meet with the king. We never get that, which is, I think, a lost cause there too. But like the biggest thing here is you can just tell that this was a fast-track film, as they announced. This was fast-tracked back in 2021 to stop the loss of film rights to Lord of the Rings. Like, you can just tell that this was just, we're just going to fast-track it. We don't really care. Just get it out. Get it out before the end of the year of 2024. We need this out because we're going to lose the rights. We don't give a fuck. And you can tell. And it's depressing. But that's all. Just watch Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. It is literally inspired partially by Lord of the Rings. It's made by Hayao Miyazaki. It is the first Studio Ghibli movie. It is absolutely fantastic. And, by the way, the main character is, again, a headstrong female character that does not get herself into fucked up situations without being able to get out of them. So, that's another great thing about that movie. It's a lot better.
Okay, also...
It also runs less.
I also gotta see, like... we're supposed to, as an audience, we're supposed to, respectfully view this, this female main character. But, why is she... I'm sorry, I guess... Why is she drawn with, such pronounced hips? She's the only character that doesn't have, her bottom covered. Every character design in it, have some kind of cape or some kind of dress over their backside. They draw her with cheeks. You could, just have a round bottom that, some styles have that design where it's just, so you don't view it sexually, but, they draw her with... And it's in shot! They put it in frame multiple times! No, so I remember, and it's are you guys getting bored?
I remember, yeah, so... Before we get to that shot, I agree. But again, I countered when we were talking about this earlier. Again, she was her father never ever was putting her in a position, wanted to put her in a position to be the one to fight. So she would always be wearing these very ornate, attractive dresses, and that's what she would wear. That was her clothing line, because she was going to be a princess that got wed. And, got wed and then moved on, had kids. That's what he wanted out of the daughter. And, it is, again, in the Lord of the Rings timeline. We're not talking modern day. It's modern, it's Lord of the Rings timeline. So that makes sense. But they do, like you said, they draw her very attractively. And I don't think that's a detriment until we get to that sequence in the snow where you have those orcs, wherever the fuck they are, pick her up. And then you get full on just a shot of her ass. And it's by the way, her ass is just out, and then just not out fully, but undergarments and all that stuff, and she's shaking around, and then the angle is pointed up like it's a porn sequence. It's what are we doing?
Well, she's not drawn with modesty, because even she has a female friend, and she's drawn with modesty.
No, well, she's an older woman. I mean,
that too. It's
that's not.
She has her design.
She is. Do you understand? It's literally. She is the most. Yes, she is literally a mirage in the desert. She is the princess of, this is folktale shit. I'm not surprised that there's a very hot, attractive princess in Lord of the Rings. That it's literally folktale like storytelling here, where it's like what is out in the distance, and then you meet the king, and what does the king have? But a very attractive daughter. And that's in every fucking story. Like that's the least surprising part. The part that surprises me is how far they went with it later, where again they're in the snow, and then it becomes like you have a shot that's like very strange, and you don't. It's like, what are we doing? Like even when she's vulnerable in other situations, like when she's vulnerable with the other guy, the antagonist. Like there's none of those sequences when she's vulnerable with the antagonist and he's got a knife to her face. Like. There's none of those shots where it's like, straight up ass or whatever. It's like
I know there's a couple of shots where it's just like the backside is just like in frame. It's just like
but the only times we don't
couple shots, yeah.
It's not again. The only noticeable time
I'm not putting that against the movie, but like I'm just like, are you guys?
I'm putting that sequence against them.
Yeah, that one
in the snow, but think the only sequence was what you're talking about, the wedding gown. Like where it's
no, not the wedding gown, because that was actually more modest than her regular outfit.
I think her regular outfit was not. I think you're, especially when you're talking about.
Well, it's mostly just
because you're making it sound like it's High School of the Dead, where she's wearing nothing, but she's wearing stuff. Like it's multi-layered clothing. It's not like she's wearing.
I know. It sounds weird to talk about, but
I'm fine.
But like, yeah, it's just like because they draw like a line in the butt. She's like, yes. But here's the thing. There's a stylistic way you can do it where it's like you don't have that line.
Yes, but like that. But that's normal though. That's like in 99% of anime. Outside of like we talked about the Mikasa thing. Even Mikasa has like that line.
I know, but it's weird for Lord of the Rings though.
I don't for anime. No, like I think even with anime, I expect that.
I know, but not for Lord of the Rings because even the Star even for Visions, I think even the Star Wars stuff is like modest with their character design and stuff. As varied as those shorts are. Most of those Star Wars designs are very modest.
Fair, I just think I don't see the ass crack or the line in the ass as like that bad because it's everywhere. It's like that's everywhere. I'm not surprised about that.
I know, but she's the focus. I know, because like there are a lot of characters. If she was a side character, fine, but like she is just the main focus.
I'm just like, because like there are women empowerment movies where there's like ass cheeks. Like it's like I'm not like if it's there, it's gonna be everywhere. Like no, even in the safe zones or apparently safe zones, that's hypothetically gonna be there. So let's get off this. We gotta keep moving. But either way, this was a wasted opportunity. Thanks, by the way, expected from Warner Brothers.